Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and it's day 11 of Micro Machine March 2. So today we're going to be looking at the Star Trek Micro Machines U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-C. Now the Enterprise C is an Ambassador class vessel and it made its on-screen debut in Star Trek The Next Generation Season 3 Episode 15 entitled Yesterday's Enterprise. And it's actually a really good story. It's got some time travel in there and alternate realities, I guess you could say. But one of the shining aspects of that episode was seeing this beauty. Now, a lot of people don't like talking about the Enterprise C, and I don't know why. From my perspective, it fills in a great gap from that Star Trek Dark Ages I brought up in the last review. Now, the Enterprise C served as a midpoint between, at the time, was an Excelsior-class Enterprise B, before Generations made it a refit, and the Galaxy-class Enterprise D. So as you can see, here we have the D, and they look similar, just a size difference. And then you have the Excelsior, and I know this is close up, we'll have a better look later. But as you can see, it is a great mixture, a combination of the two, uniting two different time periods. So that's pretty sharp. Again, we'll look at that later on. Now the Enterprise C is a bigger ship, but if you buy this model, it's a little under 2.5 inches, which is still pretty good. So we do have a lot to cover. We're going to look at the mold, the paint, put on the stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Alright, so let's get this review started. First I'll go over the major points of the ship, and then we'll zoom in for that great detail. So first of all, we have our bridge, our phaser strips, or phaser banks if you would like to call them that. Some nice detail going around the dish. For the underneath, detail continues. More phaser strips, copyright crap. Then we have our photon torpedo bay, which should be right here. For the secondary hull, nicely done. We have our peg port right there, deflector dish. Pylons are done pretty awesome. I like that nice rectangle look. Then we have our warp nacelles, which are pretty good on the whole. I like what they did there, some nice designs. And then on top of the secondary hull, we have that nice strip and shuttle bay. So, let's get a little closer look. Alright, this is as close as I could get it, and you can see all these amazing amounts of detail all over the dish. Just fantastic. We have our RCS thrusters, which are painted a blue. So that's pretty awesome. For the underneath, more of that great detail. And the paneling, I just love this paneling. And now for this section here that connects the dish to the secondary hull, I love this piece on all the Federation ships, and this is a direct link between the Excelsior and the Enterprise D. And this thing is just nice. Just look at those lines, little recesses there. Just fantastic stuff. Now again, it is flat on the back. No impulse, but the impulse engine should be there. Go back to the secondary hull. We have our deflector, which is done pretty well. See some details in there. Secondary hull has a lot of little molding, lines, paneling, everything's there. Just a fantastic job. Up on the top, see how it stretches down, sort of like the Enterprise D. Our shuttle bay in the back. Pylons are detailed nicely. And then we have our warp nacelles, which are done beautifully. We have our Buzzard collectors in the front. Amazing. So that pretty much does it for the mold. So now let's take a look at the paint. Alright, for the paint on the Enterprise C, we only have about 5 different colors. However, I think the colors are nicely done. The first color up is a nice light gray, and that covers the dish and the whole rest of the ship. And I think it was a nice choice, separates it between the collection, and makes it stand out a little bit. Second color is a darker blue for the phasers and back right here. And I believe that's it for that particular color. Yeah, I thought it was down here, but it's not. Then my favorite color on here, this beautiful metallic blue for the bridge, the RCS thrusters. Underneath, this just pops. Look at that. It's like glitter in there. Very nice on the deflector. And of course, the warp nacelles. And they just shine as well. I like that a lot. Now, the next color is red. And we can see that on the Buzzard collectors. Very faintly. And also the deflector dish, which is brilliant. And then that red is also located on the back with this delta. So that's pretty awesome to have that stripe. And that stripe's nowhere else. Just on the bottom. And then the last color we have is black for the ship name and registry, which came out pretty clear. Nice. And then on the bottom right here, Enterprise NCC-1701-C. And that does it for the mold and paint. So now that we're done with that, let's put this bad boy on a stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And just like all Micro Machine ships so far, we have a translucent stand. Just peg it in the port like so. And you're good to go. Alright, for a little size comparison with the Enterprise C, I have it next to the Enterprise D, and also the U.S.S. Excelsior. Awesomely detailed models. And now, like promised, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I just want to go over the evolution of the designs here. So here we have the Excelsior, and we're just going to look at the side profile. We have that nice neck here, round dish, and the secondary hull curves in a lot. Right, so now here we have the Enterprise C. Now we can see it's squished in a bit. Actually, this is a big ship. You know, they scale them all down. But we can see the secondary hull, how it curves up like that. The engines, the pylons are similar. You know, they're squared off. The engines are miniature versions of these, just modified. And they look a little bit more like the next generation models. Again, round dish. And then we move to the next generation. And we can see that that little curve is practically gone on the bottom. The pylons are curved instead of being squared off. Warp nacelles have evolved. The neck is much more, I would say, aerodynamic looking. And the dish is an oval instead of being a circle. So all in all, some interesting design aspects here. And that does it today for my review of the Star Trek Micro Machines U.S.S. Enterprise C. Again, the Ambassador class was first seen in Star Trek The Next Generation, and for its length, it's under 2.5 inches, which may sound small, but for Micro Machines, it's actually pretty good. Now, I love the Enterprise C. First of all, it fills in that black history of Star Trek we have, which is we know nothing about the time period, so it's nice to see a ship from that era. And two, the design blows me away. They perfectly merged a Galaxy class with an Excelsior with this bad boy. So Dave, if you like that ship so much, why do you like the model? Well, first of all, the detail, like always, is amazing. I love the way they tried to do the panels on it. I do like the bridge section, the warp nacelles, the secondary hull, everything's there that it should be. However, it is missing the impulse engines. Completely, it's just flat. And you have that black paint which is smeared on it, which I didn't even bring up because it just aggravates me. But anywho, speaking of paint, this thing is nicely done, and I love the color choices here. That darkish blue, metallic blue that shines, and that nice gray. And we can't forget that red for that deflector dish in front of the warp nacelles. Great choices there. Again, wish they painted on the impulse engines or actually molded them. But it is what it is for the time period. And also, you can't forget that it comes with that translucent stand, which unifies it with the rest of the collection. Now, if you're looking to buy this bad boy, I would strongly suggest going on the internet. They don't sell these anymore. Look for the Star Trek Collection number 6 or the Star Trek Collector Set number 2. Those are your best shots. Again, be patient and just find one that's cheap. Try and save your money. These things can cost you an arm and a leg. So I recommend this for anybody who's a fan of Star Trek The Next Generation, fans of the Enterprise, or fans of the Enterprise C in general. It is a beautiful ship, and more people should look it up and admire it. So that's everything I have to say about this vessel today. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button, and if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.